Namaste. I talk a lot about yamas and niyamas, so I just wanted to go through them very briefly today because really they are what differentiate between people who are just practicing yoga or asanas and people who really want to take the yogic path. In order to take the yogic path, you have to purify your mind because remember, it is your mind through which you see a reflection of your true self. And if your mind is dirty, not purified, then all you will see are your thoughts, your ignorance, your conditionings, and you will not be able to see a reflection of your true self. So the yamas and niyamas are guidelines by which you live your life at all times. There is no exception to them. I make an exception where when someone is dying and I maybe have to lie to save a life, that is where I draw the line for me. But aside from that, there is no exceptions. This is for all times, all decades, all the time. 20 years from now, 1,000 years from now, 1,000 years before this. So the first are yamas, which are restraints. The first restraint is nonviolence. These are all really big concepts, so I'm just touching on them just a little bit here. People often think that nonviolence is to not hit. Well, no, it's bigger than that. So examples of nonviolence, first of all, is not being violent to yourself and your thoughts. So anytime you say anything negative about yourself, I'm a loser, I'm so stupid, I'm fat, I'm ugly, that's all violence. You are being violent towards yourself. When someone comes and sees you and they leave and in your head you say something negative about them, that is violence. When you see something on a road, on a sidewalk that could potentially hurt someone, a rock, a piece of metal, and you leave it there and someone walks by and gets hurt or trips on it, that's violence. So there's mental violence. There's violence in your thoughts. There's emotional violence. There's physical violence. So when we say don't be violent, we're saying don't be violent on all of the layers. In your thoughts, your words, your actions, your behaviors. The next one is not to steal. It doesn't just mean what you steal from hotels. It's bigger than that. It's don't steal someone's time. So when there's a time to meet, you show up on time. If you leave someone waiting, you've stolen their time. If someone tells a story about something that happened to them that was amazing, they saw an elephant in the wild, and you reply with saying, yes, I saw the same thing last week, you've stolen their joy. If you actually literally steal something, anything that does not belong to you without permission, that is stealing. Then there's truthfulness, always telling the truth that you know to be the truth, not the truth that your mind has justified or created, but truth. It means to never lie, ever. So if someone says something to you like, hey, do I look really good in that dress? You have two options. One is to say, do you want the truth? Or I would rather not say anything. And also explain to people that when you are telling the truth, they are universal truths and they are truths to you. But we are all very aware enough to know what it means to not lie. So, and we have these misconceptions where we lie, and in the lie we gain something. So we lie about something and we gain money, for example. So then we have convinced ourselves that every time we lie, we will gain money. Well, no, the gaining of the money is probably a fulfillment of a karma that happened a while ago. It's not from the lie, but we make that connection. So don't lie. Abstinence. We think that abstinence is just abstinence from sex. No, it is restraint from things that dump energy. So it's the misuse of energy. So it's eating too much, drinking too much, sleeping too much, having too much sex. All of those things, when we live above and beyond the survival instinctual layer and we move into pleasure and desire, all those things dump energy. They drain us. They keep us in the external as opposed to allowing us to go within. So that's what abstinence means. As you move further into this journey, that includes more in terms of abstinence of sex as well, because it is a very large energy dumper. The last one is not to be greedy. A lot of us live in greed. We live above and beyond what we really need. So it's just being accepting of what you have, what you actually need to live in this life, as opposed to what you want because you want it in the hopes that it will satisfy and fill a hole within yourself or give you happiness. So don't be greedy. Don't use more water in a shower than you need to, more than you need to in brushing your teeth. Don't buy more clothes than you need to. Like, living above and beyond need the way we do is greedy. Don't be greedy. Then there are observances. So the first observance is cleanliness, being clean, not just your body, but your mind and your surroundings. Have a look at your surroundings. Your surroundings are always a reflection of your mind. So if your surroundings are clear, they're clean, they're organized, it helps your mind be the same way. If it is cluttered and dirty, it has loads of mementos of the past and memories, it's always going to pull your attention away from you. You know, we hold on to a lot of past memories in our homes. We look at them and then we look at the past as if we were in an opium den, as always being really happy. And it just keeps pulling us back to a place and it doesn't allow us to be present. So clean is on all levels. Be content. Be content with the moment, with what you have in your life. You know, I always say to people, when a moment arrives, be content with it the way that it is, because it is what it is. You can't change it. You can't say, oh, I wish it was sunnier. Oh, I wish so-and-so was here. Oh, I wish there was like a elephant that was here to share this moment with me. No, just be content. Be content with where you're at and what you have, because when you're not content with what you have and where you are always seeking, always outside of you, always allowing things external to you to define you and influence you. Then there's tapas. Tapas is like that flame, that desire in you for change. It is also what drives you and moves you to have a discipline, a sadhana. So every single day I have a sadhana which I practice, no matter what. And that discipline and that practice comes from a desire within me, a fire within me of not wanting to suffer and change and connect and understand my place in the world. Then there's self-study. You'll know in a lot of my videos I talk about awareness. It's studying yourself. Always think of this as a bubble. And you're on the outside of the bubble, just observing your mind, your emotions, your body. Everything that you can observe on you is a study of your conditioning and who you are and how you have become the way you have become. But it's also about studying texts and studying knowledge. Knowledge that you know is knowledge and truths that have been passed down from gurus and spiritual thinkers from thousands and thousands of years ago, and then putting it into practice, using yourself as a laboratory to see if it is actually a truth. So every day, it is the dedication to not only observe yourself, but to study just a little. And then the last one is surrender. It is surrendering to the absolute, to what created us, and just allowing yourself to follow. Because once you live by your yamas, your niyamas, you connect to your consciousness. You surrender to that consciousness, which is created to the universal, which is connected to the universal consciousness, which is connected to the absolute. And we are just here to create an experience for the absolute. So when we say surrender, we are surrendering to that absolute. So every day I just surrender. I just listen. I do the work. Doesn't mean I sit at home and say, okay, the absolute will guide me. No, I go out, I do the best of my ability, but I listen. And when it wants to take me on a path or go somewhere or create something like these videos, because I've been fighting it for a really long time, I surrender and I do it because I know it's part of the creative process. It's part of a bigger plan of which I am a part of. And so those are yamas and niyamas. So if you want to talk about this journey and you really want to talk about change, then you need to follow the Yamas and Niyamas, no matter how hard it is. But start slowly. Because if you start off by saying, okay, I'm never going to lie again, I'm never going to steal, I'm never going to be violent, you're going to fall off your mat. Don't set the benchmark so high. Today, I'm not going to lie most of the day, but I am going to be aware when I did lie. I'm going to try not to steal, but it might happen, and I'm going to forgive myself when it happens. And that's how you want to start, because they are really, really hard to follow. And this is what happens to a lot of us. We go to a Kundalini class, we go to a breathworks class, we go to ayahuasca, and the energy lifts in us and we experience something. And it's amazing. And we think, oh my gosh, I'm open. I've experienced enlightenment. My life will change. And then nothing changes. Because what happens is when you have that experience, it is a momentary experience. But when you come out of it, your mind is still where it is. It's still impure. It is still guiding and influencing you. So a lot of people want to take shortcuts and then don't understand why big change doesn't happen in their life, and they keep repeating things. They want to do a quick fix, a quick ayahuasca here or a breath works, and they experience something, but they never get further than that, because that is just a momentary connection to something bigger. It's like an orgasm. The reason we chase the orgasm so much is because in that moment when you orgasm, you feel utter bliss. And you keep wanting to chase that bliss. But once you come out of the orgasm, you're right back where you started. So, yeah, it's a lot of work. I've been on this for 18 years, but it's when this changes, you can see a reflection of your true self. But not only that, the way you interact with the world changes too, because you interact from a purified mind. And then what you get back, because of the filter you are viewing the world from, is pretty special. Have a beautiful day. Namaste.